Hey guys, so you guys saw the package opening earlier, and you saw that at the end of it, I said it was a silent, Saturday night Amazon.com package opening of the Pro kind, and what I meant by that is this right here. This is a GoPro, my new GoPro. This is a GoPro 9, not a GoPro 10, 11, or 12. If I get those in the future, I will. But first of all, I can definitely tell you it's a vast improvement because, one, the flaps under here come down, so that you can connect the thing to the attachments that come with it, the holders and everything. But underneath you have the speakers, which is really nice. And what I do like about it is even when you put them down, you have those little holes. You have those little holes underneath, and you get the sound still there. You have the mic right here, of course. You have the mic right there. And then what's interesting about this, we're going to turn it on for a second. We can turn it on like this. The button to turn it on is right here. You can see it, it's right there. Or it's on top where my finger is. It's one of those ways. But as you can tell, it's got two screens. It's got the back screen, of course, giving you all the touch details you want, and then the front. Now, it automatically goes to activity, which is 2K, 2.7. But if you want like 4K, it's got like a listing on the, behind here, as you can see. 5K at the top, which is custom, 1080, 1080, 2K, and then 4K, and then 1080 at slow-mo and all that. 4K is more cinematic, 5K is like customs and everything. And then of course they have the little pencils right here, so you can just tap on that if I can get that to go there for a second, and then that will come up and you get all these options. Like when you want, like with the video, if you want to go with that, it'll give you that option right there to go either way. It's just like the other GoPros, just like the other GoPro I had before. Now see right here, that's the 4K right there. It's a 4K right there, and that would allow me to do 30 or 24. Now I know that at 60 frames per second I get like about 9 minutes of recording footage. I know at 30 frames I might get maybe 10, 11, or even if I go to 24 frames, that's going to give me about 14. How do I know this? Because of the Panasonic 4K camera I have, as well. So I know that the lesser the frame rate that you use with 4K, the better chances you have. Now it also gives you, I don't know if you can see that, it also gives you option for 5K, which is a little higher. And that only gives you an option of 30 and 24. 5K I think goes half of what 4K does at 60 frames. Especially if it is at 30 frames per second, it only gives you like half of that, or just about the same amount. Some people say it's about the same gigabyte wise, so it might give you at 5K 30 frames per second, it might give you 9 minutes, but that all depends. But yeah, you get those options. But yeah, mostly a lot of people just use it on 4K. And then of course you have the 1080p option, which gives you all those options right there as well, even up to 240 frames per second on 1080. So yeah, the truth about this, though, the reason I'm talking about this, and the reason this is the item that I ended up getting, the reason this is the item, and you can press the side there to go back to this, if you will. And as you can also see, it's got a camera, a screen as well on the front, which is not touch screen, but basically you can see, like what you're recording and everything as well. But a little bit of backstory as to why I got this, because it's really interesting, and I do have to charge it. And the SD card I'm using, It's the same SD card I used in my last GoPro, and I had that SD card in my camera, my Canon video camera, which only goes to 1080p. But the story as to why I got this, as to why I ended up finally getting this, well, it was about, I would say, earlier this year, maybe late last year or something. No, I think it was earlier this year. I gotta go back and look at the camera footage and all that. I think it was earlier this year. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, it was around the time I think I was still working for Target or something. I was still working for Target at that time. And what happened with my original GoPro, the GoPro 8, is it went through a lot of roughness, kind of, got dented, well, it still worked. I'll put it that way. It still worked, but it basically got to a point to where it was just, you know, um, just, it's seen better days, but it was still workable and all that. But what happened was, what happened basically was, first of all, the side plate here had broken off. So that was like an issue. Well, that wasn't too much of an issue. It still worked. But then what happened next? What happened next was even more interesting, because what happened next is when I went to remove the battery. So this is the door right here too. You got to push, down on it to open it. As you can see, this is a little clip here. You got to push down to open it. But anyway, I wanted to go replace this little flap right here. I think you can see it. That little flap right there. It basically, what happened is it ended up breaking. It tore off. So what occurred is the battery, as I just shut the door there, the battery ended up getting stuck. Now, normally, I think that happened before, and I was still able to get the battery out, but this time I couldn't, because that's what the tag is for, to lift the battery out and replace it with another one. Well, I couldn't do that. And you would think, okay, just tap it a little bit and it'll come out. And I think people had done that before and they said it worked. Because I looked up, okay, how am I going to get the battery out? But this time it didn't happen. Instead, what happened is I tried to get it out, and all of a sudden I must have hit something, because all of a sudden I started hearing this, and I looked down, and the battery was leaking, and I was thinking, oh great. It wasn't leaking too much, but just enough to where I was like, yep, this GoPro, not just the battery, but this GoPro, the GoPro 8's history. So I ended up throwing it out. Thankfully, I was working for Target at the time, and I realized, okay, if I save up some money, I can get another 4K camera. And I was looking at GoPros and all that, but, my job at the time was only, every other week, when it came to the paycheck, because they like to double up what you earn one week along with the other. So basically, I waited a little bit, and then I think it was around tax time as well. I got my refund, and I decided, okay, I'm going to get myself a new camera. And then I saw that the cheapest one, let me bring it out here for a second. The cheapest one that I saw at 4K, and I was hearing some good reviews about it, was this one, was the Panasonic. So I got it, and what I did is I got surprisingly at $149, I got the bundle pack, with the case and all that. And this has been basically my 4K go-to camera when I need it. Now, the only disadvantage about it is because it records at 4K at 25 frames per second. I can only do basically 14 minutes worth, which is a video recording, which isn't bad. It's not bad. So anyway, let's just attach this again. Anyway, that's what I've been using, all because my original GoPro had pretty much bit the dust thanks to the battery getting stuck. But I always said to myself, I'm going to get a new one, and I just didn't know when. And eventually, I noticed that with the job I have now at Kohl's, and pray I keep I keep on with this job even past seasonal. So pray I do that. Maybe even at part-time, but and at the hours I have right now, so pray that happens. But anyway, long story short, to get to the point, I started noticing that the way my paycheck was coming with Kohl's was every week, because it's the warehouse, not retail. I don't know if the Kohl's retail store does the same thing, but mostly the warehouse does it every week. So every week I got a good check. And every other week I would pay the bill, at least the cable bill. And then if I had any left over, I would, kind of get myself something, get my mom something. Maybe even do some grocery shopping, stuff like that. And I noticed, and I noticed, well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I can get things, for myself that I normally couldn't. Like I got the PS5. I recently got the Bose SoundLink Flex. Shout out to Andre Meadows on that one, a Black Nerd Comedy. So I decided, okay, I got myself those. What else could I get? And then it hit me, oh, I could get my GoPro. And I looked online and I saw that Amazon had the 9, which was basically the next step, if you will. It's usually like the next step and everything in getting a GoPro, is to go the next step. But I saw that they had the 10, the 11, and 12. But the 11 and 12, and even the 10 were a little too high for me. So I figured, okay, what could I get to kind of fill that void? And I ended up getting the 9. And I got this courtesy of Amazon, Amazon.com, free delivery, all that, because I'm a Prime member. But what I noticed, it was being sold by TFP Retail, which is I guess a third-party partner of Amazon. And the way it came in, of course, as you saw in the package opening, was not just in a smaller package, but in another package. It wasn't the kind of package you would get, if you bought the GoPro at a Walmart or a Target. It wasn't like that. It was in a package, brown. It was in the package box that you saw, and it came like this. Basically, it came in this little thing. And you're thinking to yourself, well, does that mean it's refurbished? That no, it didn't say it was refurbished or anything. It's new, completely new. And I looked at that and I'm like, well, like I said, I looked at that and I'm like, that's unique. That's kind of a different way to do it. Because normally, if they have anything to do with it, they make sure that you get it the way it's sold. But that wasn't the case here. Instead, it was sold in a bundle. Now, whether or not it was refurbished or not, over time, I will know. I will know if it's refurbished, but it basically feels like it was new out of the package. Because basically it had the little film on top of the things that I took off. Even on the back. So I figured, okay, it's new. It's new and everything. So, it was at default setting, so I had to switch it around, put the date and everything. But yeah, it's kind of unique to see him, send it in that way. And I already have a little bit of scuff marks on there as well, so that's fine. They'll fade over time. Nothing's perfect after you get it, but anyway. That's how it came. And again, the reason I got it, and I've been planning to get another one, is due to the fact that my other one pretty much bit the dust because the battery started leaking. And again, it had seen better days. I think it was also the fact that, I would take it with me to work, and to family functions, but mostly to work to try to do stuff during break and everything, and doing it in a 4K, manner. So that was kind of on me. But I also think it's mainly because I would use this everywhere, including here at home. I would set it up with a tripod and everything, and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. Everything seemed to be hunky-dory. But, hey, what are you going to do? This time around, if I do videos with this, which I do plan to do, I'm probably mostly going to do them here in the house. If I take this with me, like for little events like Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving, that's a different story. But otherwise, outside of that, the plan is to basically just, you know, keep it safe and sound as is, you know, as is and all that. So anyway, that's basically the story as to why I got this new GoPro, why this GoPro was the package that I got from Amazon. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment below. Let me know if you've gone through something like this with a GoPro like camera. Let me know if you've had to deal with this kind of a situation to where, let's say something happens, like the battery gets stuck, you try to get it out, it leaks, and then it's like pretty much, okay, that's it for that item. Let me know if you guys have gone through that. Love to hear from each and every one of you on that. But yeah, that's basically my story as to why I got this GoPro and why some of the footage you'll be seeing from now on here on my channel, when I get the opportunity, will be recorded with this. It's already feeling a little warm and everything because, you know, that's just how a GoPro is. You know, so you got to keep it cool and everything. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, it's just a little warm. It'll cool down over time, and everything feels like it's doing that now. But again, that's just my story on what's going on and what happened. And again, let me know if you've gone through anything like this. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good Saturday evening.